Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube family. How are you doing today? And we're going to spend a little bit of time with Emma Richards today at the Recalibration Station. We're actually going to talk to you about how this station works, how the crafting bench works, and why it is an absolute, or at least I think it's an absolute game changer, and you should be paying attention to it. Should be good. Let's do it. When would I use it, G4? I don't understand what it's for. How should I use it? When would I use it? Okay, we'll explain what at least my opinion is on how to use it and when to use it. And as we go through the tutorial, I'm sure you're going to start to make your mind up on what suits you personally. And it really depends on two things. Are you going to stop your playthrough at level 30? Or are you going to go on and do the world tiers and then go on to level 40, which is max level at this point? Very important distinction to make. If you're going to move on to level 40, then what I'm about to say will be important. So the recalibration station should open up around level 30 once you've finished the main campaign, and it is a tool for basically replacing and optimizing the stats on your equipment to make your equipment much more suit your play style, if that makes sense. And it's a pretty simple thing to do and get your head around. But if you haven't used it for the first time, like I hadn't used it for quite a while, I just completely ignored it. It can be a bit daunting to try when you open it up. So I'm going to walk you through how it all works today, and you should be more informed and you should be able to start using it to your advantage. The first thing I would say is I don't think it's worth using this station until you've reached level 40. Now you can use it, and as I go through and explain how it works and what it's about, you can make a choice on that. But honestly, what I would suggest you do between level 30 and 40, if you are moving on to level 40 and you want to unlock everything in the game or the end game content, then what I suggest you do is that you pay attention to what you're picking up loot wise, and you use that to your advantage, and that'll become pretty self-explanatory in a bit. It will make you look at loot in a completely different way, and it actually means all that gear and all those weapons and everything else that you're picking up becomes extremely powerful and extremely useful to make you more effective in the game. Okay, so let's hop into the interface and we'll walk you through it. So you have four menus that you can hop into. You get expertise, optimization, recalibration station, and recalibration library. The recalibration library is the one I think you should focus on between level 30 and level 40. But we'll walk you through the interface, and then we will talk about that in a little bit more detail in a sec. So we'll click into the recalibration library, and all of these menus are pretty much the same. Now from here you can walk your way back and through, but you can see all this interface is absolutely the same. Okay. The big thing here is just pay attention to all this equipment here. It has a green arrow on it. Now, the marksman rifle doesn't, but the rest do. And that's because that is telling you is there's something for you to extract in each of these categories. Okay, so if I clicked into body armor, for instance, it brings up this sub-menu, core attributes, and talents. Now, it's important that I talk to you, I'll get out of this menu for a second and talk to you about each of these separately to show you where these are and what these are about. Okay, so we're going to hop into my inventory just quickly. I'm going to bring this, this is what, the code relations. It really doesn't matter. So you see the panel on the right hand side there, it talks about total damage, etc., proficiency rank, and then we come to what's on the weapon. So you can see on the code relations, the SMG is at 15%, so that's maxed at 18.5% critical hit chance, and you can see that little icon next to the critical hit chance. That means that I've actually added something to this gun from the recalibration station. And then, so that's the core attributes. And then you have your attributes. Now, this will be different for every gun. You might find that some weapons or some gear pieces will only have one core attribute and two attributes. I think they could have done it's confusing. I think they could have done a bit better with their naming. But anyway, this will change from weapon to weapon, gear piece to gear piece. So you've got attribute there, damage to target at a cover, 8%. And then there is a talent there, which is perfect strain. Gain plus 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 second you are firing, blah, blah, blah. It stacks up to 8 times. So that's what's on each of your equipment pieces. And that relates or correlates to what you see in these menus here. So here's your core attributes, and your talents. So it's important that you understand what these are talking about and where they are on your equipment. So here we go. We'll just click into core attributes and it'll bring you to this menu here. And what this is saying to you is that for armor, you have 4 choices to extract. For weapon damage, you've got 6 choices to extract. And for skill tier, you have 1 choice to extract. Now, these will change depending on what equipment you're looking at. And I'll show you that in a minute. So let's just pick weapon damage for a second. Now, do keep in mind that when I'm talking about the equipment, I'm talking about the equipment that you've collected out in the environment, you brought back and you're either got in your inventory or you have available in your stash, because this menu will look at both. It doesn't make a distinction between them. So it's only the gear that you've actually looted. It won't draw it from anywhere else except the inventory or your stash. So when I click into that core attribute, you'll see on the right hand side there it has core attribute, and there's two orange banding boxes around it to show you what you're looking at. And if I scroll down on each of these body armor pieces, those numbers will change because we're looking at all the different gear pieces to see what is the best. And obviously this one is the best at 12.1, but it isn't maxed out. And you should be looking for stats that are maxed out. And we'll show that in a while too. So that's the body armor. Let's choose a different, we'll choose backpacks. Just to demonstrate that. So that's only got armor and weapon damage. But if I go into attributes, now I've got a whole list of things I can pick from. And again, same thing. This is the attributes menu. There's 4 for weapon handling, 1 for critical hit chance, critical hit damage 2, etc., etc. So you just click into them and find what you're looking for. Now, hopefully, if you're paying attention to your gear and you get a piece of gear that has something that you want to extract, you'll know exactly what that gear is and where to find it. So, for instance, what I'd generally be doing between level 30 and level 40 is building up my library with all the different core attributes, and talents. And you can see here, this is backpacks, and I've actually extracted a ton of different talents. So leadership, protector, calculated, energized, they're all in my library. You can see the ones that are grayed out mean that there's nothing there. And the ones that I've got white means that you've extracted something, shock and awe. And basically what you can now do is you can actually add, for instance, if I wanted to add the shock and awe talent to another backpack, I can do that quite easily. And we'll show you that in a while how that works. Okay, so one thing that you've got to understand is, though, as you're building up your library, anything you extract from a backpack can only be put on a backpack. Anything that you extract from an SMG can only be put on an SMG. You can't take any of these off, say, an SMG, for instance, and then put them on an assault rifle. Here is a core attribute, assault rifle damage, and we've extracted, you can see on the right hand side there, we have extracted a assault rifle damage of 14.6, and it's telling you on that line that the max is 15, so we're pretty close to maximum damage there. The real thing that I suggest you do as you're going through between level 30 and 40 is just building up that library. When you find a gear piece that is interesting, then come in here. If you're not going to use it, come in here, extract the core attribute, the attribute, or the talent, and just store it ready for when you hit level 40. Because I think the problem between level 30 and level 40, or even between level 30 and doing your 5 skill world tiers, is that you're forever finding better gear, and forever finding better gear, and forever finding better gear. So anything that you add to your gear, you might find a better piece. Once you get to level 40, everything maxes out. Show what I'm currently running. Now, one thing that I would suggest something to understand is that you cannot recalibrate exotics, okay? They don't show up in the menus. So it's only kind of gold and below. You can the green ones, these ones, you can most certainly change, but the exotics you can't. You can see on this one, I probably would like to add something a little bit different. Now you can only add one piece at a time. You can only add one modification as far as I understand. If I'm wrong, please let me know down in the comments, but from my testing, I can only actually just change one attribute or core attribute or talent on a piece of equipment. So for the code relations, for instance, you can see I've actually added an additional critical hit chance. Again, there is that icon in the second core attribute down, and I've improved my critical hit chance. So how do you do that, G4? Well, first of all, we've got to extract. We've got to show you how to extract the attributes, core attributes, and talents that you want, and then we'll show you how to then add that to another gear piece. I'm going to go to attribute and weapon handling, and this is what you're looking for. See, in this Electra chest, the weapon handling is at 8%, and that is the maximum you can get. You can see on the screen, weapon handling, we're looking for a maximum of 8%. That's the best you can get. So that would be something that I would certainly be looking to extract, okay, and build up my library. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into that now. Understand that when you extract anything from an item, the item is gone. So you've got to be careful what you're going to extract from these gear pieces or these weapons. So all you do once you've found the thing that you're looking for is that you just hit the extract button, and there it is. Weapon handling 8%, done. So that's now in your library. Okay, so we have that 8% weapon handling on our body armor. So now how do we add that to a new piece? So pretty simple. Just click one across the recalibration station, go down to your body armor and find the piece you want to change. Now, understand when you are looking at all of this gear in any of these menus that you are actually looking at what's in your inventory, but also what's in your stash. So please be very, very careful when you're doing this. Okay, so we're going to go down to this one, Parachute Guard. And you can see here, it's not fantastic, but I'll use this as an example. So I want to change this one, and I actually want to change an attribute in the skill damage there. So I click into it. I scroll down to what I want to change and select it. Sorry, wrong one. There we go. So I want to change skill damage to weapon handling. Press the transfer button. And boom, it's done. And you can see that little icon has now appeared on that gear piece, and it's fixed. And that's as simple as it is to recalibrate your gear, ladies and gentlemen. So one quick aside, please just note that when you do make a change to your gear using the recalibration station, there will be some resources required, and you can see there I've just highlighted it in the little red box there, so you can see where those are, so that it's a quick look, see if you've got enough resources, and then you can make the change. Now you can see now that I can't make any more changes to that gearpiece. One change is all I get to that gearpiece at this point. So this is just a way of using the recalibration station and library to your advantage. Now I want to talk a little bit about optimization for you, and then we'll finish up. Optimization tab here. And optimization works a little bit different to the recalibration station. And really optimization, I think you might use optimization between level 30 and 40. You might use it during the process of coming to level world tier 1 to 5, whatever. But I don't know, I struggle with this a little bit, and I'll explain why. So here we go. We've got the same menu. We want to upgrade, say, a rifle, for instance. So I want to upgrade, just for the sake of this tutorial, the SOCOM M1A. It could be anything, could be any gear set. Okay, so what do I want to increase? Do I want, and this is showing you the attributes, core attributes and attributes on this actual weapon. Okay. So what do I want to change here? What do I want to essentially increase on this weapon? Well, maybe it's going to be rifle damage. So to optimize it, all you have to do is just choose what you want to optimize, and press the optimize button. Now, you'll see right down at the very bottom there are a whole lot of numbers. And basically what that's saying is, if you want to optimize this weapon, then it's going to cost you some resources. So let's see if we'll pick another one where we can optimize it. So try this one. Okay, there we go. So we can optimize that. So I can actually change this assault rifle damage on the military G36 from 10.8% to 11%, but it's going to cost me a ton of different different materials. And so we're going to hit that optimization button, and you'll know that you've got the amount of materials required, because everything in the bottom will be white. So I'm going to optimize it there, and there we go. We've upgraded that to 11%. Select it again. I can continue to go, given that I would have the materials to do that. To me, for a 0.2% gain in assault rifle damage, optimization for me is just not worth it. It uses materials, and it's just not worth it. But it's there if you want to use it, and now you're aware of it. So expertise, if you want to understand what expertise is about, it's not one I use. You'll see down in the bottom at the bottom right there is a tutorial there, and it walks you through what optimization is about. And basically it just takes you, it allows you to change, as I understand, the proficiency ranks your gear pieces. So if you want to use that, I don't use that one. I only use the recalibration station, because it's basically the recalibration library, and the recalibration station is utilizing the gear I'm picking up anyway. I go on loot runs and all kinds of stuff. I do loot runs at the moment to try and get specific gear parts, and I pick up all this stuff, all this gear that I don't use. So it's a really good tool for me just to build up a library and change gear pieces. Okay guys, that will do it for that tutorial today. I hope it's been useful. If you've got any questions or anything to add, I still have some questions in my mind about this. So if you know a little bit more knowledge than what I've given you, please leave comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. And a like rating really does help the channel out. So if you can help me out by hitting a like if it has been useful, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. See ya.